Now, I always do at the end of the show, Barrage the Farage, where you send your questions in and the guys sit there in the room, guys and girls sit there in the room, pick out questions for me to answer, try and find the most difficult ones they possibly can, and I don't see them before. We're going to do it live here, but I have got some hints there because I know that Alison is going to be my first Barrage the Farage question. Alison, good evening.
Hello, Nigel. Any chance of a referendum on the green issues?
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because as a country, we don't have many referendums, but we had one on Brexit, thank goodness. And, of course, the answer the people gave was not the one that Westminster wanted to hear, which says to me we ought to have more referendums. Because I really believe that Westminster are hopelessly out of touch on many issues with decent, ordinary folk living in this country. My view is this. Do we care about the environment? Do we care about the world we're leaving to our children and grandchildren? Of course we do. Do we want energy to be as clean as it reasonably can be? Of course we do. But we only produce under 1% of global CO2. And if we follow Boris's net zero agenda, it's not just household bills that are going up, it's whole manufacturing industries that are leaving our shores, going to the rest of the world. The CO2 still gets produced, the goods then get exported back to us. The net effect is even more CO2. So I think there needs to be a full public debate on net zero. No one's been consulted. Virtually everybody in Westminster agrees this is what we should do. And frankly, as we just saw from James a moment ago, already people can't afford it. So I do feel quite strongly. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree with you totally, Nigel. I think we have the gas here and we should be using it for the North West.
Well, I think economically it would do the North West a lot of good. There'll be a lot more levelling up through that than you'll ever get through government spending money in the North West. Thank you very much indeed for your question. Next up, I've got Dr. Chris Wood. Chris.
Hi, Nigel.
Hello there.
Hi. Do you think Trump will run in 2024?
This Trump question, I mean, this really does get people hot under the collar because people either love him or hate him. I know the feeling. I was out there at the end of November, did an interview, an exclusive interview for GBNews with him. He'd lost quite a lot of weight. He's playing golf every day. He actually looks fitter after 4 years of being president than he did before, which is unusual, because normally American presidents age before your eyes. If he wants to be the candidate for the Republican Party, then he will get the nomination. And I think at the moment he does intend to run. And frankly, I think Biden has been a worse president than anybody could even possibly have imagined. Whether you like Trump's style or not, and I get it, you know, he's pretty out there. He can be pretty abrasive.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of New Yorkers are like that. But actually, I don't believe 130,000 Russian troops will be massing on the border of the Ukraine. I don't believe the North Koreans will be firing missiles in the way they are. I don't believe China would be as bellicose as it increasingly is over Taiwan. And I certainly don't believe Afghanistan will be back in the hands of the very Taliban we spent 20 years fighting if Trump was still president. So, you know, like him or hate him, I think he's the right pick. What's your take on Donald?
Well, that's my view. When he left office, the American economy was the strongest it's been since possibly Reagan. It was only COVID that sort of put a spanner in the works. And I think he also had the highest employment as well. Might be wrong there when he left office. So,
yeah, no, I mean, COVID's been difficult for any Prime Minister, and that's one area in which we should sympathise with Boris Johnson. It's not easy to govern during COVID, but you're right. I was with him on the 29th of February, the leap day, in 2019, 2020. And, you know, for all the world, I thought he'd win 40 states, or 45 states, then COVID came along. But, yeah, my view, he's not going away. Thank you. Next up. Next up, we've got Kelvin. Kelvin, hello.
Hi, Nigel. Nice socks. All right then, pal. Would you stand for election in the next general election? And if the answer is no, under what circumstances would change your mind?
All right, look, Kelvin, I did nearly 21 years in the European Parliament. Haven't I been through enough? I got into politics not because I wanted a career in politics, far from it. I had a career, I gave it up to do it. I got into politics because I believe getting back the independence of our nation, our rights of self-government, was not only honouring those that had given their lives before in 2 world wars to fight for us to be free and independent, but actually would give a better world to those that come after us. And that was my motivation for being in it. If this was America, and we had open primaries, rather like Chris's question a moment ago, and there was a vacancy for Boris Johnson's job, I'd run. I'd stand for an open primary. But we don't have that system. It's a closed shop within British political parties, so it's very, very difficult. At the moment, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I do think, by doing this on GBNews and other things I do, that I can help influence national debate. In a sense, the first question tonight being one of those areas where I think we need to have a public conversation. All I can say to you is never say never, all right? Never say never.